All right, we have a question. For a platform provider like DigiDesign that provides both hardware and software, how do you keep your launch moments aligned? Okay, that's a good one. When hardware and software have such a different development processes.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Avid, the Pro Tools platform in particular, as this amazing, and that's derived back from the DigiDesign days, where there is this synergy, this symbiotic relationship between the software and all of the hardware components. So you have like now it's the HDX platform, which is DSP based. Part of the mixing, part of the mixing happens on the DSP, so you have low latency tracking. A lot of the processing power for that for real time processing is on the DSPs. But then there's also the native aspect of Pro Tools driving all this. Can be hundreds of streams of audio going in and out of interfaces, and then you might have a S6 console in front of you, which is a controller. There's no audio passing through it, but it's communicating with Pro Tools, giving you visual feedback, etc. So the combination of all these things, as you know, as Martin is pointing out, is extremely complex, and you have a lot of different development paths that are typically parallel but have to intersect in many respects. And you've got different types of expertise. So you've got um, it's a little bit like front end, back end in web development. Like you have features in the software, you have the low level stuff that interacts with the hardware, you have firmware in the hardware, you have control protocols and personalities for the controller, and all of these things have to come together. I think the key is to really identify at the beginning of a project what is going to be we called it the long pole, like what is going to be the longest process. um, Interestingly, and it's kind of not really intuitive at first, is um, hardware is not necessarily the long pole. Making things sometimes is actually pretty trivial. Like you put, well, trivial, I'm exaggerating. I was actually having dinner with the guy who still does hardware at Avid this week, and it's not easy, but the software can sometimes be infinitely more complex and take a lot more time. So in many cases, you have to kind of work with the product management, operations people, program managers, to really sync up the different teams and make sometimes tough decisions as to when that eventually goes to market. And you have to wait until it's ready, like especially in a company like Avid, where you're serving customers who do mission critical stuff. They're on your products 16 hours a day. They have deadlines. They have to deliver a TV show by this particular time. It can't not work. So it's really important to have the proper development cycles, then the proper alpha and beta cycles before you feel confident enough to get to market. And that's something that I think Avid does really well. There's a really, really good beta group, and we take a lot of our, we took, because I'm no longer there, a lot of our cues from those beta testers to tell us whether it's ready to go or not.
Good point. Good point. If I can add a word, probably like a product management is also like a very like important part of it, right? So actually driving projects that are actually cross-functional, right? I mean, between different teams, right?